Hey everyone, I'm Egoqueenalexis. Love me? I know you do. And today, we are back with the Genestealer cult once again, building for our Rants and Rambles today, a Ridge Runner. So the Ridge Runner is a very interesting kit in all of the Genestealer cult because it's the only vehicle to have a heavy mortar, which is honestly amazing. It is an amazing weapon, especially for cult, especially for a vehicle that doesn't need line of sight and can give you no cover saves. Kind of an amazing weapon all around. Anyway, that's what we're doing today. We're going to check out the rest of the cult and we're going to be building up the army as we go. So, let's take a look at this kit, let's see what it's got in it, and let's start getting to building. And so, just like that, we have the Ridge Runner finished. Completely painted and everything. Just kidding. So this is the Ridge Runner that I actually finished on my own. Did up some highlights and everything on it just to match the rest of my army. It's not painted the best, but it's painted pretty well. I really like this kit. So, going through the box itself, let's put this off to the side, which now it doesn't want to fit back where I had it. We have a few things. One, the giant oval base. I love that vehicles are coming on bases. Let's just put that out there. I think all vehicles should have bases, including rhinos, just because it makes attacking them so much easier. Like things like defilers, for instance, should have a big oval base, just to make it so that you don't have to like touch one of its claws or whatever. You could be like, touch its base. Boom, done. So, oval base. Let's get that out of the way. Full color instructions, which I think is really cool, as well as them actually printing the rules on the back of it. So it is kind of cool to see GW actually giving out some of the rules, which I honestly think is what they should be doing in the first place. And the codex should just be something you can buy if you want. Especially being with all the FAQs and everything, making the codexes almost obsolete overnight. Now, the kit itself is put onto two sprues. You have the part that just has the 4 pieces that make up the Ridge Runner itself, and then all of the axles, tires, and accessories, including the weaponry. So, let me go ahead and lift my camera, be all super professional, and tilt it down, and go right about here. Try to get it so that my chest is not just in the line of sight, so I do. Yeah, it totally is. I apologize about that. So, right off the bat, I'm just going to take a few things off the sprue. And I have super glue with me, I have an X-Acto knife, I have this, and I have Instaset, which I completely forgot. And by the power of Grayskull, I got it. So if you don't know what Zip Kicker is, it is the best thing ever for super glue. Okay, just move my chair a little bit closer. But yeah, as I said before, I'm just going to cut down the sprue just a little bit to get the car off. I don't know what to call this thing. It's kind of like a dune buggy. Like an evil dune buggy. Okay. So I used 3 of these in a game before, and they proved to be very effective. Even when they just had the missile launcher, which is the worst choice for them, don't give them missile launchers. They may look cool, but they are completely useless. I'm not impressed with the missile launcher in them. But the 2 weapons that I would give them is the mining laser, as well as the mining laser and the heavy mortar. And I'm leaning on the heavy mortar being the best weapon because of its ability to shoot out of line of sight, which honestly, that just makes it a good weapon. Especially being that some of the upgrades for this thing can actually deny cover saves, so that -1 to its armor save, whatever you're shooting at, turns out to be really, really effective against your target. So we're just going to go ahead and get this thing off. Okay. Now there's a few parts I'm going to leave off of this thing because painting becomes a nightmare when you have them all together. So let's just go ahead and get this off of here real quick. Okay, and I have no place to actually put the empty sprue, which is really irritating. Really? Did I not prepare? Oh well. Let's move these crouchlings out of the way. I'll just move the pile of crouchlings across the table and I'll just put it off camera. So there we go. Okay, and let's get this thing off. Now, see how this got a little bit of a scrape on it? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife and peel right along that to get rid of it. There we go. And again, just right along there. Just to get rid of any like straggling pieces on this or any mold lines. Since everybody loves to yell at me for getting rid of mold lines. I usually do that off camera, so I do apologize if you don't see it. So, let's actually open up our kit here. Right, first piece we're going to need is this. Turn it upside down. Put these doodads on it, which I almost lost immediately. I'm also just going to cut out the heavy stubbers. Heavy stubbers are a meh weapon in my opinion. They sometimes do something, but they're not a weapon that I would select. Like, I wish this thing could replace its heavy stubbers with, like, las cannons or mining lasers. Or, you know, heavy bolters. I would take heavy bolters in a heartbeat. If it's not obvious, heavy bolters are one of my favorite weapons. Okay. And my glue actually solidified, which is awesome. There we go. Put that off to the side real quick. Just going to put 2 dots. Come on. 1 dot here, 1 dot here-ish. Ah. Come on, you. Go where I want you. There you go. Good job. I'm going to put a little glue behind it just because you don't actually see the underside of this. There we go. Now we're just going to put the headlights on this thing, which are over here. Now I really like this vehicle because it doesn't feel too industrial, which I think is kind of an odd thing to say about the Genestealer cult. Because all of their stuff should feel like hyper-industrial and, you know, like grunge metal and stuff like that. But this doesn't. This feels more like Western, like almost like a cart and buggy, in my opinion. Alright, we'll just go ahead and get rid of this sprue because I know I'm not going to use that. Okay. So now let's go ahead and put these headlights on. But yeah, there's a very Western feel to the Genestealer cult. And I really think that's kind of amusing because of some of the style you can... Okay, this thing does not want to set. one of the playstyles you can do with them is running a bunch of this guy, like 3 of these guys, and actually having something akin to a Western. Having your snipers out there. I think that'd be cool. Put your killing jackals, or whatever they are. Put your jackals on horses. Have a really, really, really Western theme Genestealer cult. So, there. Headlights on. Boop. Speaking of headlights, I'm not going to make that joke. I apologize. That's a terrible joke. I really do apologize about that. That probably got me demonetized. So, just popping out some more pieces. Getting some more of this sprue off just so we can get through it quicker. Going ahead and already putting the top piece on here, just because this is always the quickest point. This creates this neat little bubble car look, which I wonder if this would actually be efficient. I mean, the windshield is actually pretty effective. It does give a good line of sight. Okay, now it tells us to switch over to the other part. This part is a pain in the ass, by the way. Okay. So now we need stuff on this spur, stuff on this spur. So let's make sure we got this set up right. 56 on the one side. But yeah, if somebody does a Western themed Genestealer cult, please, I want to see it. I honestly think that would be amazing, and I think that would be such a cool conversion. Like, especially being all this stuff you can do with it. Instead of this, you can use horse and buggy, and I think that would be really, really fun. Okay, 56 on this side. Ready. And the other one on the other side. Oops, I think I put that on backwards. Yep, there we go. It's got a really decent suspension system. Like, you don't see this with 40K models. It's a good suspension. I don't know much about cars, so I do apologize about my limited knowledge on them. I'm not a car girl. Not a tank girl either. Too attractive. It's a terrible joke. Okay, so we got that part on. And then what we're going to do is put the bigger piece on, which is this duo-majiggy. The axle system for the back. See, I know car parts. I've probably broken all of these parts on my actual car. There are universal constants, and one of them is that I break cars. Like, I can't go, like, 3 weeks without breaking a car. It's like a superpower. It even works on other people's cars. So what's weird about this part is it technically just kind of sits there. And I don't really like that too much, but it just kind of does. There we go. Just getting rid of more stuff on the side of the vehicle. Or getting rid of more stuff on the sprue, I should say. 21 and 24 go together. Now again, there are a few things that I want to leave off just because it makes painting the bottom of this thing easy. Like, I'm probably not going to glue this piece on just so I can spray it black. Come on, pop off. You're going to be a pain, aren't you? Yes, yes you are. There we go. And, whoop. Okay, so now we have that piece, and that's 21, and we need 24, which is right here. Whoop. Okay. So actually getting through this rather quickly. I got through the other one pretty fast. Like, this isn't too difficult of a build, which is really good because some of the builds GW has are insanely difficult. Like the Void Dragon. I looked at the thing and I was so confused. Okay, so this little point right here connects into that piece, and I missed this on the first one. So I'm just going to make sure I get it this time. Okay. There we go. We got the suspension now underneath, which is good. Okay. And now we just need to go to getting the exhaust pipes. So it goes 14 and 15 together, which is weird how they're set up on the sprue. There we go. And once again, I'm just getting rid of some of the stuff on the sprue itself, making the sprue smaller, just to make it easier to deal with. Okay, now, a tiny dab of glue does this piece. There we go. And let's get this piece as well. There you are. Come on. There we go. So we got both those pieces ready. Ah, get off. Ah! It's stuck to me. And I did the only reasonable thing I can think of. Scream. Just like me playing Resident Evil. Can't play Resident Evil. Oh my god, that game scares the hell out of me. I can watch people play it. I myself can't play it. Nope. I tried. It was a solid nope. Okay. Get these exhausts on. I wonder if this would be an efficient vehicle. I should ask a car person if this would be an efficient vehicle. Like, if you're a car person, take a look at this model and write up, like, something about it, just so I have knowledge on this vehicle. Now, at this point, we flip over to the next page, and it wants to get these two pieces together already. Wow, that just put the Pokemon song in my head. You know, the Together Forever song from, like, the Pokemon first movie for some reason. Was that the first movie? I feel like that was the first movie. I miss when Pokemon was good. It never was, but I still miss it. Okay, so we're going to put this piece on, which I got a huge chunk on it, so we're going to go ahead and get that off. There we go. And again, what I want to do is once I get this piece on, I'm going to spray the bottom of this black. So on the other one, you can't really see it, but I left one part of this thing white to cover in mud, and it came out pretty good. So yeah. I like my vehicles having an industrial vehicle look, but instead of the yellow, I went with a red because it's the color of the High Fleet, get it? High Fleet Kraken, hint, hint, nod, nod. Yeah, I am so amazing at making references that no one gets. Go ahead and put this there, and then go. Come on. Fall into place, you butt. Thank you. And then it wants me to put the radiator cover. I'm assuming that's a radiator. It looks like a radiator. It looks like an exposed radiator, which I don't think is a good thing. I'm not too sure. I wonder if they have Coca-Cola in the 40K Millennium. Like, I know all the vehicles are run by Prometheum, which is their go-to explanation for practically everything. But I wonder if they have Coca-Cola. I know their go-to explanation for everything alcohol-related is Amasac. But I really want to know what their Coca-Cola is. I don't know. It's something that I want to know. It's silly, but I want to know it. So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray this black and take it back and shout it out in clear. I don't know the rest of the words to that song. I don't think it has the rest of the words. I think that's it. That's all that anybody ever knows. So, I'll be right back instantaneously on this. So, after about a half an hour of drying and everything, you're making sure it's dry, we finally have the entire back suspension painted black. Just a simple spray paint of black, just to make it easier for when I'm painting this thing later on. I also painted the bottom of this black, again, just to make it easy. See, there's the gray side. It's the black side. Anyway, moving on. We now have to put this piece together. Now, I don't want to glue it together just yet, because I had a problem with the other one where I couldn't get the side pieces on. And there's a very particular way you're supposed to line this up. And I think it's these two needing to be exactly together. Okay? So, let's go ahead and grab the side pieces really quickly. Of course, I immediately grabbed the wrong side piece. Yep, it does need to be exact. See, now this is a problem that I've run into before. You have to make sure that it's tightly together. So, what I'm going to do is just dab a little bit of glue here and here along the edges, just to make sure it can catch. And again, I'm still not gluing this part on just yet. I know that sounds weird, but I'm going to use the side to glue it on. And the reason for that is I want everything to line up perfectly. So now it's about holding that in place and there we go. It is pretty much perfectly lined up to where I want it to be. Oops, I keep grabbing the wrong glue. Wait for it. Just hold this together really quickly and there. So I just used the side to hold everything together. So now we just go over to the other side, do the same exact thing. Let's go along these edges, along this piece here, along this piece here. It's not where I'm holding it, essentially. Again, making sure it catches all of those folds. And then the second it does, a little bit of Insta-Set. And boop, car pretty much built. Now, if I was smart, I would have done the tires black as well, which I'm going to be doing in just a second. Once we get all of the pieces on, which is one more piece that I need to spray paint black just before we move on, which is this next piece coming up. So there's a few more pieces that I want to spray black as we build this thing. And again, just doing this will help with the painting in the future. It just makes everything easier. So we're grabbing the front grille right now, or dust cover, or I don't know what this piece is called, but we're grabbing this piece. And again, I'm going to make sure I clear off my sprue as we go. Because for some reason I like doing this, it makes it feel like there's more progression. Okay. So now this connects at the short end, right? Yes. Yep. Just like that. Okay. Let me just make sure I clean this thing up really quickly, get off those mold lines. And those connection points, which were really annoying. And boop. There we go. So that piece just needs to hold together. And again, we're going to spray this piece black just because I want it to look nice, essentially. There's a piece back here we can just put on. I'm not really worried about it. So get it out of the way. It's like the tail lights. So I'm gonna put this glue somewhere else. I keep grabbing that one, which is sealed shut. Okay, and it'd be a miracle if I actually got all of this to line up perfectly. There we go. So now we got the tail end of it on. There's a small ladder on it too that needs to be put on, which I'm also going to be spraying black, just again to make things easier in the future. So pop and this piece off. One of my fans actually bought me a new clipper because they saw my clipper being like brutally damaged and everything. So I'm really happy with that, so thank you. Right, I'm gonna just get the tires out now because I want to get the parts that need to be sprayed black already done. Okay, and the tires are really easy. They're the same tires for the Ork vehicles, which I think is really amusing. Go. Again, let's just go through this and pop these off. And we'll toss these together. And yeah. Also, I would love to see a looting match between the Orks and the Genestealer cult, where the objectives are like Imperial vehicles, and it's just them jacking everybody's ride. I think that'd be a really fun mission, like a really narrative mission too. Because it's like Genestealer cult needs those, but the Orks want to loot them. Also, I would love for Genestealer cult to have a looted Imperial Knight. Just saying, like if they can grab cars and tanks and everything, Knights aren't off the table. Boop. wonder if these tires actually... Now, this might sound stupid, but in lore, did their tires have air in them? Because if so, that seems really, really weird for a heavy construction vehicle, in my opinion. For, like, a futuristic heavy construction vehicle. Or, you know, whatever these count as. I would count these as heavy, or as construction vehicles. I mean, who doesn't drive to work in their dune buggy? Right? That's just a thing that happens every Tuesday. People just, you know, dune buggy to work Tuesday. I mean, I do. I don't know about you guys. But I definitely break out my dune buggy for Dune Buggy Tuesday. Conveniently, it's also Taco Tuesday, which is really yummy. Speaking of tacos, I haven't actually had a taco in like a few months. Like, I just, it's not a food that I regularly eat. I had Arby's the other day, which is really weird. Wasn't bad. Alright, so these are all going to be stuck to the table. These are all going to be sprayed black. This part right here is going to be sprayed black. And we have a ladder that goes on the back of the vehicle itself, which is going to be sprayed black. Just again, because these are all on the undercarriage, so it makes things a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is, I would show you this, but there's a chance that spray paint can get onto my camera, and I'm not taking that risk, so I do apologize about not showing you this part. Okay, so I want to spray all of these pieces black, and I think we're on to the next step. So before we move, well, actually let's check what else. I don't think there's anything else that goes on the undercarriage. No, not really. So before I put the bar system on, I'm probably going to put that in black wash as well. Or black wash. I'm going to spray it black. Just to get that done and over with. I'm really liking the Genestealer cult, but at the same time I'm not liking some of the aspects of them. Like, I don't like that it feels like I'm playing War Machine when I play my Genestealer cult, because everything has special and unique rules. It feels like it's too rules heavy, where it shouldn't be. Does that make sense? I feel like that makes sense, in a way. Here, I'm also going to spray the cannon black because we're going to need to in a few. Cannon, the mortar. Do love me some heavy mortars. Kind of want to get heavy mortars for my Genestealer cult. But the only way to get it is if you do a Brood Brother detachment, which gets you, like, no command points. So it's not really worth it too much. I find really annoying, because it's like, hey, this is the one army we don't want you to have allies with. And I don't know, that to me is kind of annoying. I get that guard needed the nerf. Like, really, I do. I completely understand the nerf to guard. Because of the whole Loyal 32 thing. Why are you not staying where I want you to stay? Huh. I think that little peg is actually in the way. I thought it was actually part of it. It's not. But yeah, I fully understand that guard needed the nerf, but at the same time, the Genestealer cult is missing so much from their codex. that it feels like they should have access to that stuff. I don't know, maybe it's just me being a little bit bummed out by them not, like, I'm okay with the guard losing all of their traits, like you don't get catachans, and you don't get this or that, and that's fine. But losing out on half of those command points as well, that hurts a little bit. It's like, are you sure? Okay, where's the next piece? How do I put on the mortar itself? Yeah, it is flat, short. Okay. Well, that's just one thing that bugs me, is just the lack of support for Tyranids is a little bit apparent. And I get it, GW loves their loyalist factions, and those guys are always getting the boosts and everything. It's going to be prime black. I'm trying to get everything that's going to be prime black just out and ready. What I want to do is just make sure this has some insta-set on it, just because this part is always a pain in the butt. Okay. Put a little bit of glue. Let set for a second. A tiny bit of insta-set on here. I'm basically just rubbing the bottle and just getting the moist part on it. That is a sentence that's going to be taken out of context. Okay, so now we have the back piece right here. We're going to spray this black as well. And probably all of this equipment, just because it makes it a heck of a lot easier to just have it all pre-painted, all pre-sprayed already. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. Even these, I don't want to put the jerry cans on this vehicle just yet. Mostly because I like putting jerry cans in vehicles and not on them. Like in the back here, but a person sits back there for an upgrade. So I'm probably not going to put the jerry cans on it. Okay. Let's go ahead and get this piece on. Ah! It exploded off. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, keep waiting. Got it. See, I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Sometimes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape off a lot of this and just spray this thing, the top part, white. That's also why I'm trying to get all of it prepped so that we have everything ready. And we're also down a sprue, which is awesome. So now it's just assembling the person in the back and in the gunner seat, which I'm going to do one with auspex and one with binoculars, because in my opinion that's the best combo of weapons. It's the best combo of upgrades. I'm also going to take this mining laser, and since I'm not going to be using it on the vehicle itself, I am going to I'm going to put it on a base with a tripod and have a guy using it as a weapon. So I have more cultists holding heavy weapons. Because I want to get a few more and try out some neophyte warriors. Just like spamming neophytes. Because some of you have said that neophytes are the way to go. I didn't really believe that at first, and yeah, you might be right. Actually, you are right, and I know that you're right. So, at this stage, I decided to put some painter's tape on the bottom of this. Now, this will allow me to spray the rest of this vehicle white without damaging any of the black. This way, I can get all of this thing ready to be painted. So, just like this, it's going to be done. So, as we can see, the entire undercarriage is now black. The above carriage is white, which is perfect. Now, there are some spots that got a little white, but that's kind of whatever. Not really worried. So, we got all the tires and everything ready, which is perfect because we could just toss these right on, assuming my glue didn't seal itself shut, which it did. There we go. Just going to dot all of these really quickly so we can toss them all on at once. Okay. And then it's just a simple process of popping the tires on. And boop. All of those are now on. So, now I'm going to flip this thing over, go to the grill back here, put a couple of dabs of glue on it, and put the guard on it. Okay, so now we got that piece on, which is good. I should probably move my camera over a little bit. Off camera, I went ahead and built the two little people that sit in the vehicle, including the woman that sits and uses binoculars, and the other one that sits in the back. So, with the mortar ready, we're just going to go ahead and dot, dot. And go ahead and put that right into position. Then we'll go ahead and put the railing in place. Now the railing on this thing is a little bit tricky as you have to like snake it around everything. Which I probably should have put this on first versus the actual mortar. But it falls right into place, which is perfect. Then there's this little piece right here, which is a door handle. So I'll put a little tiny dab of glue in each of these little spots. Get the door handle itself. Pop that into my finger. Come on, fall into place. Come on, I just want you to go where I need you to go. Close enough. But there we go. Got that in place. And I immediately broke it off. Next up, we're going to get the ladder into place. Just dab of glue here, dab of glue here. Then, simple, we're just going to go right to the back. Pop that into place. Spray it. Now you can see the exhaust did get white, so we will have to go over that with some black, which is fine. And then now we just put these tools on here, which we're going to put the shovel on this side and this one. Why? Simply put, because. I don't really have a reason. Seems like a cool idea. So, shovel on the side, hammer on the other. Okay, go into place. Nope, you missed. There we go. Now I have the hammer and shovel. And with that, aside from priming these two white, this vehicle is done. I do think this is the best configuration for this vehicle. It gives you the minus, your opponent doesn't get cover saves, and it gives this thing the ability to fire out a line of sight, which I think is really good. This is what mine looks like after it's been painted and based. So it does look kind of nice, decent, not terrific, but decent, you know? Can't really see the highlights on my camera, which is weird. But it does have highlights all over it. So yeah. Anyway guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun building this thing. I just need one more. Once I get the third one, I have a rule of threes. You know me. You know me and my rule of threes. But I really hope this build was helpful for you. I hope the rant helped you paint. I hope you enjoyed what we were doing today. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to thumbs it up because YouTube cares about that. Also ring that bell thingy, which should be like right over here. It gives you notifications of all of my new videos. I try to do about 3 to 4 a week, plus 3 on Twitch as well. Be sure to check that out. Links will be in the description down below over here. And while you're there, you can check out my other social media, which includes Twitch, obviously, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also check out and join my community on my Discord page. Discord server. I'm very active in there and usually spend most of my time editing in there. So be sure to check that out. Also, if you are super awesome and want to support the channel and support what we are doing here, please consider checking out the Patreon. It goes a long way to helping me out and helping me pay my bills, and I'm a little bit behind. On there, you can see exclusive videos. I'm going to try to do 2 or 3 a month. This month isn't going to be too heavy, but there are my modeling pictures on there. But starting next month, we're going to try to do 2 to 3 Patreon exclusive videos, which will only appear on there and nowhere else. And I hope you guys enjoy that. Anyway, with all of that being said, I'm Alexis the Norn Queen. I love you guys. Bye.